Welcome, everybody, to our meeting for June 29th, 2021. I'd like to welcome everybody back into our public chamber. It's been a while, folks. We haven't been here since January of 2021. And there's a bit of an echo in the room, and I suspect it's because of all the plexiglass we put up here for health and safety reasons. So welcome again, folks, and I'd like to welcome back our newest MHA, former Councillor Lucy Stoyles, back to our chamber today. Lucy, we're going to share some experiences with you. Hopefully council will join you in some discussion about your career on council, and we're here and happy on behalf of our residents and our businesses to recognize your service. So it's a real pleasure to see you here, and it's great to see you back in the same chair that you served in before you left. So welcome, Councillor Antle, Councillor Fry, and Deputy Mayor Locke. Good to see you all, and a special welcome to our new CAO. I guess I can still say that, Dana Spurl. This is your first meeting, I think, that you've attended in the public chamber. Not your first council meeting, but it's nice to say welcome, and it's nice to see we're in a better place from a health and safety point of view. Well, we've got some stand-ins today, but of course we have our Director of Corporate Services and Economic Development, Cassie Pittman. She's here today, and we also have substituting for Jerry Antle, our Director of Infrastructure and Public Works. We have Glenn Dollamont, who's our Superintendent of Public Works. And subbing in today for Jason Collins. Both of the former gentlemen are gone on vacation, but we have Blair Tilley, our Manager of Municipal Enforcement. And of course, quarterback in the whole meeting is our City Clerk, Mona Lewis. So thanks for joining us, everybody. Council, you see before you the agenda. Items 1 through 7. Can I get a motion, please, to adopt? Moved by the Deputy Mayor and seconded by Councillor Fry. All in favor? And those opposed? Motion carried. Now, Council, we have minutes from June 15th, 2021, the last public Zoom meeting that we held. I'm looking for errors or omissions, please. And hearing none, I'll ask then for a motion, please, to adopt the minutes from June 15th. Moved by Councillor Antle, seconded by Councillor Fry. All in favor? Contrary-minded and carried. Thank you very much. Any business arising, folks? Well, hearing none, that will dispense with those items there on the agenda. We'll move into a little presentation for, I'm going to say, Councillor Stoyles, because I'm still not used to calling you MHA Stoyles, Lucy. No disrespect intended, but I think you'll always wear the role of councillor with the City of Mount Pearl for a long time to come. And it's nice to see that you've moved on to the provincial government to represent us. And I know you will quite well. Councillor Stoyles, MHA Stoyles, was first elected to this chamber in April 30th in 1996 by a by-election. By my count, Councillor Stoyles, that means you served here for 25 years, and that's very, very commendable. There's many of us who've served here for a long time, but in terms of longevity, you're in the top 2 here at the City of Mount Pearl. So as I look around the chamber, I see many a picture of councillors past, and I see you there, I believe, 6 or 7 times. So that's a really nice feeling. I'm sure you must be proud. I know we are of your service, as well as your new beginnings in the House of Assembly. Lucy, folks, served on the board of MNL, as well as the Municipal Assessment Agency, because as we all know, and Councillor Stoyles knows, serving is not just in this chamber. You serve on a lot of regional committees and a lot of capacity subcommittees on council. Some of the work is done here in the chamber, but much of it is done typically behind the scenes in public events as well as private. Lucy's been active in the community for many, many years, receiving numerous awards, including Mount Pearl Citizen of the Year, VOCM's Volunteer of the Year. She's a recipient of the Canada 125 Commemorative Medal. She's an honorary cadet, and you're an active cadet too, because you don't stop past president. So you're an honorary and active member of the Cadet Club of Mount Pearl. You've also been a recipient of the Chamber of Commerce here, Mount Pearl Paradise, the Norm Carr Award, the YMYWCA Woman of Distinction Award, the Newfoundland and Labrador Hall of Fame inductee, which is a process that's overseen by the Duke of Edinburgh. And I had the pleasure of attending that particular award, as did other members of council, only 2 years ago, I recall. But you must be very proud to MHA Stoyles to receive the YMYWCA Woman of Distinction Award, because I do know we look for more diversity in our politics and our representation here at the council table in all of our institutions and departments. And you're seen as a leader in that capacity, and you're a role model for everybody that will follow in your footsteps. You've been participating in many fundraisers: Salvation Army, the Kidney Foundation, of course, the Heart and Stroke Foundation, and the Canadian Cancer Society. I don't expect there's been $1 raised in Mount Pearl, Councillor Stoyles, that you didn't have a hand in. And you're always here to represent Mount Pearl at a moment's notice, and always available to meet with residents to hear concerns. And in our circles, you've always been known as the member of council who always finishes a question with just asking the question. And we're so proud of you to be here, MHA Stoyles. Before I present you with a plaque of service and a little token of our appreciation, I'm going to invite other members of council if they wouldn't mind. I won't ask you to stand, council, but if you wouldn't mind joining me in offering good tidings to Lucy and best wishes for the future. Deputy Mayor, or Councillor Fry, or Councillor Randall. Okay.
Hi, Lucy. I just want to express to you my sincere thank you for all that you've done and all that you've accomplished. And I'll tell you now, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Lucy, because it's something that I've always wanted to do, and I've always had interest in doing it. But I guess, it's normal to kind of second guess yourself and say, well, who am I to think that I could do that? And then one day I got a phone call from Lucy, and she believed that I could do it. And I thought, well, if Lucy thinks I can do it, then I'll do it. So I haven't looked back since. And since that point, she's been encouraging. She's been providing me with the most amazing advice. And Lucy, you're such a great role model for me and for all the other women out there. I mean, to serve 25 years in public life is quite an accomplishment. And all that you've accomplished and all the things that you've chaired and all the things that you've been involved in, I don't know how you did it, but you're certainly an inspiration. And it's been a pleasure to serve on council with you. And I am so grateful to call you my friend. So I wish you all the best in all your future endeavors. And I know you're going to be the most amazing MHA.
MHA Stoyles. I think I've known Lucy Stoyles, I think most of my life. I mean, Lucy, you'd always been involved in public life. We always knew Lucy Stoyles even before I got on council. But I met Lucy last year when I was running. You might remember that, but I was running for election 4 years ago, and I ran into Lucy up in Brody Place. And all you did was give me encouragement. This is what you do. This is how you do it, right? And she gave me some tips, and off we went. And I thank you very much for that. Our first meeting here in council, Lucy's always there to support us all. But at my first meeting in council, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. Like most people, you didn't know what to do. And I remember coming around at the round table. It was a funny story. You came to me at the round table. They said, the mayor said, "You have anything to say?" I said, "Nope, I have nothing to say." Right. So I let it go. And after that meeting, Lucy held me aside. "Don't you ever do that again." She said, yeah, she gave me some tips that again, exactly how to run a meeting. And, it takes time, but Lucy had time to, to talk to everybody like that. I was also fortunate enough to be on my first committee with Lucy, right? And we did planning together. And I was certainly fortunate enough to go through that planning committee with Lucy. And Lucy, you certainly took your time and helped me out a lot. And, I think you made me a better counselor. I know, and I had that there, right? But you were always there to help everybody, Lucy. I think everybody appreciates that, and they don't see that enough, how much you really help other people. Councillor Fry and I drove across Newfoundland at our first MNL meeting. And we happened to we met Lucy for some other reason. She came with us. But from Gander to Corner Brook, Lucy regaled us with all her things that she did and every time. And she wasn't bragging by no means. But Lucy, we'd say something. Lucy said, "I did that." We say something else. Lucy said, "I did that." And it was amazing how many things she did. And people that she knows. And she didn't know she was related to the person. So she is amazing in that way. And I was there looking, I was thinking this evening, Lucy was, well, now I am, right, the shortest on council, right? I always had someone that was a little bit taller than, right? But Lucy, you were the shortest on council, but I tell you, you were giant on the council table. You know, Lucy always had you certainly, if we can all learn something from Lucy Stiles, is, you know, when you give Lucy the job, it's done, right? And she makes her voice known, and it's a pleasure to be, say I was a counselor with you, Lucy. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Worship. Bill, or Councillor Rental, I sat in that chair when I first got on council as well, my first meeting, and Lucy sat in the middle chair. And she as well provided the guidance and let me know what to do and what the process was. So I appreciate that. And I drove across the province with Lucy one time as well to MNL. And I think we had to make 2 or 3 stops because she had to drop money off in this location. She had to drop another package off in this location and then another package off in this location right across the province. And again, she also filled me in with her experience, and I appreciate that. And I told Lucy that, and I knew of her strong will and determination because some years back, Lucy may remember this, we had a healthy living challenge, healthy lifestyle challenge amongst councillors. So Lucy and I paired up as a teammate, and she was determined to win that healthy lifestyle challenge. And I'm going to tell you what, I saw her determination then, and she ended up winning the healthy lifestyle challenge. So, but one thing I admire about Lucy is if an issue was raised by a resident, she always made sure that the resident's issue was known. And she'd always remind us that we are here working for the people that voted for us. So that's what she carried in her 25 years. That's the greatest lesson I've taken from you, Lucy. And I'm delighted. I was delighted when I heard you were running provincially. And I'm not surprised that you won the election because you are the people's representative. And I know that will continue in your role as MHA. So congratulations. Thanks for the great memories. And I look forward to working with you as MHA. So congratulations.
So MHA Stiles, we have a plaque for you, and it says as follows. In recognition of your noteworthy accomplishments and advocacy, spanning 25 years from April 1996 to April 2021, which contributed to improving the city of Mount Pearl for all who live and work here with a strong sense of home. Thank you for your dedication to further building our progressive, independent city.
Yes, I got the floor for a minute.
Absolutely.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to say thank you. I certainly appreciate everything everybody said, and we have a great staff here at the city, and we're going to continue to grow. I want to say that this time around it's going to be my first time voting from one person, because in the past 25 years, and every time I voted, I've made no bones about it, and I've said to anybody who's running that if you're running, you vote for you, and you vote for you alone, because it's as good as 6 votes. So I have every intentions to this time around. I'm not going to say I'm going to vote for 6 people, but for sure I'm going to vote for the 3 existing councillors and the people who are on council now. And the only commitment I will make is that if you want your flyers dropped off, I will deliver your flyers in my area. So if you all want to get together and give me all your stuff for the 2 or 3 polls up in my area, I'm only happy to and proud to go out and deliver them for you guys and that. And I said I was staying out of the election as such, because no matter who gets elected, who's coming forward, I'm going to have to work with them as an MHA, but I certainly will take your stuff and deliver it in my neighborhood, because that's where my strongest area is, and the people will know that I will be dropping off your literature if you would like me to. And again, I enjoyed my time, no matter what you do in life with family or whatever, is ups and downs and everything. And no doubt there's been ups and downs here, but you got to get through it, and you got to work through it, and it's family, and you work for the betterment of your family. And this was my family for 25 years. I look forward to coming here every week, and I certainly miss it. Or, I miss coming, especially on Tuesday nights. Now I wonder what I'm going to do lots of Tuesday nights, and I've watched a number of Zoom meetings afterwards. After they were put up online, and so, and I will continue to do that. And I've met with several candidates so far and give them encouragement, and and give them information. Of course, I always sends them to Mona. Mona is the best person from the come and talk to if they're looking at getting involved in public life. And if anybody's out there listening this evening and thinking, maybe I can do this, well, you know, if you want it, you can. You got to work at it though. You just can't put your name on a ballot and think it's going to happen. It's time consuming and you got to be able to give it your all. And the best person from the call is not really me, it's Mona Lewis, who's the clerk and will be looking after the elections and running the elections, and that's who they should be contacting. Get on the website City Hall or just look up City Hall and ask for Mona Lewis and she will give you all the information you need if you're interested in running a campaign. And I look forward to coming the end of September and coming back in the chamber when people, hopefully COVID will be over, and here for when people are getting sworn in for the first new council in 2021 to the next 4 years. And yeah, I'm confident that everybody here will get elected. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Would you join us? We'd like to present you with the plaque. And will you join us for a picture? Council, it's okay to wear your masks.
Would you stand next to Lucy? Well, she got high heel shoes on. I'll put my towel on.
You can stay for the whole meeting if you want. All right. Well, that was really nice. And it's good to see you again, Lucy. And yes, on behalf of all of us, good luck as you're in your new role as MHA, and I'm sure you'll serve us well. And you'll serve the people of the province just as equally well. We have a proclamation, council. Next item on the agenda. It is a proclamation related to Arthrogryposis Awareness Day. Whereas arthrogryposis is defined as a multiple congenital joint contractures, which occurs when multiple joints are stuck in one position and have very little flexibility. Whereas arthrogryposis is caused by an unborn baby not moving properly during fetal development, causing the newborn to lack a normal range of motion in one or more joints. And whereas the different types of arthrogryposis include myeloplasia, a non-genetic type, which is due to the muscles failing to develop, and multiple pterygium Escobar syndrome, a genetic type, which occurs when the messages that impacts person's muscle movements are affected. And whereas arthrogryposis occurs once in 3,000 live births, and whereas joints that can be affected by arthrogryposis include the hands, feet, hips, knees, elbows, shoulders, wrists, toes, jaw, and spine. But while any and all joints can be affected, it is possible for some joints to be unaffected, and no two people are affected exactly the same way. Whereas individuals born with arthrogryposis require stretching, various therapies, whether it be physical, occupational, speech, and otherwise, and some surgical interventions that can help improve a person's independence level and quality of life. And whereas on June 30th, 2021, families all across the world will be wearing the color blue to honor those affected by arthrogryposis. And whereas increased awareness and expanded knowledge of arthrogryposis and its impact on patients' quality of life will enable the community at large to better support people who struggle with the challenges of this disorder. Therefore, be it resolved that I, the Mayor of Mount Pearl, on behalf of Mount Pearl City Council, do hereby proclaim June 30th, 2021 as Arthrogryposis Awareness Day here in the city of Mount Pearl. And I want to affix my signature on that And I just want to make a comment that I've read some of these proclamations as it relates to, medical conditions and disorders. If that impacts just one person by this city acknowledging and making awareness of what the condition or the disease is, we've done our job. But naturally, we want to spread the word. Where it says 1 in 3,000 live births, this is not something that's extremely rare by the sound of things, and it impacts not only young children, but families and communities at large. I'll open the floor now to any further discussion.
Mayor, if
Deputy
you
Mayor.
would, I'm pleased that you read in this proclamation today. I became aware of this a number of years back when a former student of mine, her child Casey, has arthrogryposis. And I've watched over the years the challenges and the therapies and like you said, necessary surgeries and interventions. And it's important that we let people know about this because again, it's not rare. It's not an uncommon condition, and it impacts people differently. So there's different degrees of severity. But I do know that the little girl is she's a fighter. She got strong determination and determined to walk, and she's very independent. But Lindsay is her mother, and she is so grateful for all the support. And when I mentioned that we would be reading the proclamation for this, she was extremely excited. I'm happy to say that tomorrow night we are going to be lighting City Hall up in blue in honor of this. And I think Confederation Building is also going to be lit in blue. And I think Niagara Falls is going to be lit in blue for 15 minutes. So, I mean, there's increased awareness here. So I know, to your point, Mayor, if we've helped one person, I know Lindsay and Casey are touched by our proclamation here today. So again, just to let anyone afflicted by this know that we are there to support them in any way we can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well said. Any further comment? All right. Hearing none, let's move on in the agenda. And we are now going to go to the Corporate and Economic Development Committee. And Councillor Antle, please.
Your worship. There's only 3 here tonight for us, and we'll speed them along. And not that we're in any rush, but the first one is for invoices for approval for a total of $173,923.23. And there's six there in the kit. And a couple there I want to haul aside. The first one was for Rodco Mechanical, that's number 5, for $11,022.75. And this has to do with the pump repair at our Clyde Avenue lift station early in June 28th, 2021. And this invoices the cost of repair and to reinstall the pump. Also, you see number 2 there, it's for McGinnis Cooper for professional service and legal fees for $14,618.96. And these fees are in support of the city received in relation to a privacy complaint. The city takes these matters very seriously, and support is required to respond due to the complexity of these matters. You'll also see one there for, which is one I found quite interesting, is for number 3 for $97,883.17, and that's for Metrobus. And the city pays 7 cents per kilometer for Metrobus services here on a monthly basis, 7 cents per kilometer, right? In May, there was 15,000 kilometers of roads. $7 per kilometer, I'm sorry, not 7 cents. I was in shock when I saw the 7 cents. I was with $7. Like for the
I like that
residents to
deal
know.
better.
Right, yeah, for $7 a kilometer, and for the month of May, the Metrobus drove 15,000 kilometers here in the city of Mount Pearl. And that total for $97,000. So, Metrobus does cost us a fair penny. And I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Antle, second by Councillor Fry. Discussion? I'll call the question. All in favor? Those opposed?
And
And motion carried. Thank you.
just in keeping on that note, like as we all help each other, Deputy Mayor Locke was over there going, and I knew what he was saying. He was wording. You were doing quite well, Deputy Mayor. Right. The payment register for June the 10th and June the 17th, it was a total of $1,067,769.16. And that's there. You can look at those through your kit. This is what we approved last month, and that's just there for your information. Questions or anything on that? Number 3 is tax deferral for low income earners. This is something that the city does on a regular basis. If any resident is interested or has any issues with your low income and your taxes, just give us a call, or we'll certainly take a look at that. But there's 5 there, and I don't need to go through all of these, but there's 5 there in your kit, and I so move.
Again, moved by Counselor Antle, second by Counselor Fry. Those wanting discussion, please say so. Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Contrary-minded, carried.
And that's it for me, Your Worship.
Infrastructure and Public Works, Deputy Mayor Locke, please, noting that Counselor Antle, I think you're seconding today.
Thank you, Your Worship. I know when you're calling the question, I gotta keep myself from flicking my thumb up. I've been so used to giving the
Oh.
thumbs up in our Zoom meeting. And I got the urge to do that. So I'm not trying to be like Arthur Fonzarelli. I'm conditioned now to raise my thumb. So thank you, Your Worship. The first item for our committee here today is a contract recommendation for the supply and delivery of one tandem axle dump trailer. So we were advised that the tender closed on June the 9th. One bid was received as outlined below. The qualified bidder was Atlantic Trailer Equipment Limited, and the bid amount is $18,040.05. This includes HST, and we're recommending that we proceed with the awarding of that contract, and I so move.
Moved by the Deputy Mayor, second by Counselor Antle. Any questions? I'll call the question for the tandem trailer. All in favor? And contrary-minded, carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. The second item for us are some status updates. Actually, the last 3 will be status updates. The first is Public Works. Just a reminder to our residents now that spring bulk garbage collection is completed. But just a reminder that we do offer, a pickup fee of $25 if anybody needs bulk garbage items picked up, which is a great deal when you consider the cost to hire someone. So just a reminder that option is there for our residents. Our road maintenance, our signage, our garbage collection, our recycling, our work along the trails, they're all ongoing. From a capital projects update, Your Worship, the tenders that have closed and have been awarded, they involve their material testing, street markings, our line painting that's still ongoing throughout the city, reconstruction there on St. David's Avenue. The Badcock Place reconstruction is ongoing. The system evaluation and design work for the Kenmount Hill Water Tower, that's been closed and awarded. Repairs to City Hall roof and the HVAC system, that's been awarded. And the work with respect to the Topsail Road storm outfall and upgrades has also been awarded. Upcoming tenders, they are for Topsail Road, Coruscant Drive, Clyde Avenue, and that's all to upgrade and renew the asphalt in those locations. The last item for our committee, Your Worship, has to do with facilities maintenance. Just an update that, as we all know, City Hall has been illuminated in pride colors for the last month. It will be illuminated again tonight. Then we will switch to blue tomorrow night for the arthrogryposis. And then on Canada Day, we will illuminate City Hall in orange. Okay. I was speaking with Matthew Jones today with our facilities manager. And I asked, what range of colors, and his response was, I think there are 16.2 million colors that they can produce. So you ask for it, we can produce it. So, and I think that's a great message. It lends a lot of support to the various organizations that are asking it. So just an update there. And I think Councillor Antle wanted to speak to something there, Your Worship.
Just regarding our crosswalks, I got a couple of calls on our crosswalks. Number 1 is, when will the crosswalks be finished? We're at them now, I guess, but when will they be completed? In some areas, there's only 2 white lines. There's no, the crosswalks in the middle aren't filled in. Is that going to be fixed, or is that just temporary, or is that how we're going to do it from here on in?
Well, I think Mr. Dolleman can probably speak to this, but in greater detail. I do know that we have the painting has been done on the rainbow crosswalks, but I think last year or the year before last, Mr. Dolleman, we just went with those 2 solid lines for crosswalks and took the cross hatches out of them, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. It was a more of a cost saving measure, I guess, than anything else.
Yeah, and that's standard practice in other jurisdictions, right? Across Canada and across North America where they don't have the cross hatches anymore.
Well, there's the crosswalk in particular I'm asking you about. It's the one down on Park Avenue, down where the trail intersects there by Park Place.
Oh, yes.
Right, there's only 2 white lines there, and the resident tells me that it's hard to see with the lights flashing. Is there any way we can get those blocks, or is that something we can look at, or is that?
Sure, we can bring it back to
That's a
committee and
takeaway.
discuss it.
Yeah, that's a takeaway for the department.
Yeah.
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 But my understanding was when you cross at a roadway that's perpendicular to an intersection, it's just the white lines. But when you traverse a major road, quite often the blocks that you
Yeah.
talk about are put
That's what
there.
it needs to
So
need. The
Okay.
white lines are there, but it needs the blocks.
Okay, we'll bring back that back to committee.
'Cause I
We're meeting
think-
tomorrow, so we can bring it up then,
I
okay?
think the blocks were there last year, though, I think.
Okay,
I observed there's a crosswalk, is there not, in front of down there at the corner of Smallwood and Park? And that's blocks going across, right? Because it gives more visibility, I think, for those major roads.
okay.
Hmm.
And that's it for us, your worship. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a quick report. Now we're going to bounce right off to the Community Development Committee report. Counselor Fry, please.
Thank you, your worship. First on our agenda this evening is the Focus on Youth Awards. So that took place virtually this year on the 16th, and we had the opportunity to honor some outstanding young citizens. So we held our 31st annual Focus on Youth Awards virtually to recognize the accomplishments of its top youth. The event was hosted by the 2019 winners of the Youth of the Year Award and the Youth in Service Award, Cameron Kinsella and Michael Chislett, respectively. And the awards are available to watch on the city's Mount Pearl Facebook page and on our YouTube channel on demand. And, it was really well done. And congratulations to all of the nominees and the winners. I know the Youth of the Year was Liam Bavis. The Athlete of the Year was Megan Holden and Kaylin Noonan. The Team of the Year was O'Donnell High Seniors Boy Volleyball Team. The Youth Volunteer of the Year was Sarah Parsons. The RNC Youth in Service Award was Sarah Bertrand. The Performing Arts Recognition Award was O'Donnell High School, The Wedding Singer. Performing Arts Individual Award, there was a tie, Rebecca Ann Bartlett and Julia Bryant. Visual Arts Award was also a tie, Jordan Daw and Jade Hickey. And the Literary Arts Award was Jalen Francis. The STEM Award was Russell Corbett. So we had some really outstanding youth, as we always do, and it's always great to celebrate them. So congratulations to all the winners as well as all the nominees. And thank you to those who took the time to nominate, because that's always really important. Next on our agenda, we have our Canada Day celebrations, which is coming up in a couple of days. So the city will provide a drive-in movie on the Upper Glacier parking lot starting at 9 p.m. And we're going to be showing the movie Hook. And that's, I think it's an adult Peter Pan, which is interesting considering that we learned today that Peter Pan is going to be shot here in a Disney movie. So it works. So further details on that will be available on our city website. And also the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 36 Memorial Ceremony will take place at 10:30 a.m. at St. David's Park. Of course, while the rest of the world celebrates Canada Day, here in Newfoundland, we also celebrate Memorial Day. And due to COVID restrictions, the virtual ceremony will be streamed live on the city's Facebook page. So residents can log into the city's Facebook page to view the ceremony and to pay their tribute. Coming up in the middle of July, July 16th to the 18th, we have our city days. Now, a lot of people have been asking about that. So our upcoming city days activities we're planning some activities, but unfortunately we can't do the full scale that we are accustomed to, but we are still going to celebrate. So it's that time of year again, and we're preparing. While it will look a little different this year, we are pleased to advise that the annual event will continue. The full schedule will be released later this week and available on the city's website and social media channels. So there is something for everyone. And I have a draft poster here. There's a seniors social that's going to take place on Friday, July 16th. That's from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Reed Center. We have a drive-in movie later that evening at 9 p.m. we have the next day on Saturday, July the 17th, we have our Princess and Superheroes Breakfast at St. David's Park. Now that's a ticketed event and there's limited capacity, so you'll have to book a ticket for that. That's 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then in the afternoon, we're going to have a Find Your City Center Day. There's live entertainment, sidewalk sales, food trucks, and surprises. Then that evening, we're going to have a Pride in the Park in Centennial Square Park. And that's going to be a lot of fun. There's free films and drag performances from Chez Moi and Proud Prizes. So that's from 7:30 to 10 p.m. And then on Sunday, we have our seniors tea at the Admiralty House Gardens. That's from 12 to 2. And then Sunday evening, we have Beep for Bingo. It's a drive-in bingo in partnership with the Mount Pearl Frosty Festival and the Mount Pearl Sport Alliance from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. So we still have lots to celebrate, and we are looking forward to seeing residents out and about enjoying it in a very safe manner. Okay, next we have 51 Dundee Avenue. That's Northbrook Construction Limited. And there's an ancillary warehouse building, and they are interested in putting 2 buildings on 1 lot. So the Department of Community Development has reviewed the application that was submitted by Northbrook Construction Limited on behalf of H.J. Bartlett Electric to construct an ancillary warehouse building with a floor area of 1,600 square feet, 149 meters, at 51 Dundee Avenue, and recommends approval to enter into a development agreement with the property owner, H.J. Bartlett Electric, in order to accommodate the proposal, subject to the summary of conditions as set out by the department listed within the report, which will be conditioned in detail in the development permit. So the department further recommends that the staff issue a footings and foundation permit once the agreement with the property owner is finalized. There's a briefing note here. So just to give you a little bit of background information, the city is in receipt of an application from Northbrook Construction Limited on behalf of the property owner, H.J. Bartlett Electric, to construct a proposed new ancillary warehouse building with a floor area of 1,600 square feet at the rear of the existing property located at 51 Dundee Avenue. The building will not be serviced in relation to sanitary water or sanitary storm and will only be serviced electrically for lighting purposes. The new warehouse building will be used to store electrical materials such as pipe, rolls of wire, ladders, scissor lifts that are to be used on off-site projects, and will create additional warehousing area for the tenant of the main building, H.J. Bartlett Electric. So the subject address is zoned light industrial, and the proposed light industrial use, which is warehousing, is a permitted use in the industrial light use zone. The proposed size of the warehouse building exceeds the limits of what would be classified as an accessory building, non-residential, which requires a maximum floor area of 50 square meters, but it can be accommodated as 2 buildings on 1 lot, which would require the property owner to enter into a development agreement with the city, which is required to be signed and registered the title of the property at the Provincial Registry of Deeds. So there's a relationship to adopted plans and regulations. Those are Mount Pearl Municipal Plan 2010 and the Mount Pearl Development Regulations 2010. The Department of Community Development has reviewed the application submitted by Northbrook Construction Limited on behalf of H.J. Bartlett Electric to construct the ancillary building, warehouse building, with a floor area of 16,000 square feet at 51 Dundee Avenue, and recommends council agree to enter into a development agreement with the property owner, H.J. Bartlett Electric, in order to accommodate the proposal, subject to the summary of conditions as set out below, which will be conditioned in detail in the development permit. So staff are prepared to issue a footings and foundation permit once council concurs to enter into an agreement with the property owner in order to expedite the processing time. And those are listed here in your kit. And then there's the site drawings here. And if there are no questions, I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Fry and seconded by Councillor Antle. Councillor Antle.
Just a quick note, for the minutes, is it 16,000 square feet or 1,600 square feet?
Oh.
And was it-
Thank you for that correction. That would be a very big building.
Any further comment, question? I'll call the question. All in favor? And those opposed? And that motion is carried. Thank you.
Okay, next we have an order issued for ratification. And this one is for 42 Lindbergh Crescent, Gregory and Larry Ginge. So there's a travel trailer located at the residence of 42 Lindbergh Crescent, and it's required to have all repairs completed on or before July 7th of 2021. The trailer has been in the driveway covered with a tarp since April the 14th, when the city received a complaint of its condition. According to the complainant, the trailer has been in the state of disrepair for months prior to April 14th. If the trailer is not repaired, it must be removed from the property as it is considered to be in a wrecked, abandoned, or discarded condition and is a violation of city regulations. The department recommends that the issuance of the order as outlined above be ratified by council pursuant to section 109 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000. So the order states, this order is pursuant to the City of Mount Pearl Act, the Urban Rural Planning Act, the Mount Pearl Development Regulations 2010, the Mount Pearl Building Regulations 2011, and the Occupancy and Maintenance Regulations. Take notice that as a result of an inspection on June the 18th at 42 Lindbergh Crescent within the City of Mount Pearl, the following deficiency was observed. The trailer has been in the driveway covered with a tarp since April 14th, 2021, when the city received a complaint of its condition. According to the complainant, the trailer has been in the state of disrepair for months prior to April 14th. Travel trailer located on your property must have all repairs completed on or before July 7th, 2021. If the trailer is not repaired, it must be removed from the property because the city considers it to be a wrecked, abandoned, or discarded condition, and it is in violation of city regulations. Failure to comply with this order will result in the City of Mount Pearl making the necessary arrangements to enforce its order through legal means, which will be undertaken without further notice. In the event that the City of Mount Pearl is required to take legal action, all associated costs will be your responsibility and collected from you. Payment of this amount will be required within 30 days of the issuance of an invoice, or the matter will be referred to court for collection. You have a right to appeal this order. The appeal fee of $200 plus HST must be submitted to the Secretary of the Appeal Board at the Department of Municipal and Provincial Affairs, first floor, Confederation Building, West Block, within 14 days of the date that you receive this order. If the appeal and a fee are not submitted within its time limit, your right to appeal is considered to be forfeited. You should also note that any interested person also has the right to appeal this order within the 14-day appeal period. And that is dated at Mount Pearl, Newfoundland and Labrador, this 24th day of June, 2021. And I so move.
It is again moved by Counselor Fry and seconded by Counselor Antle. Any discussion? I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary-minded? Motion carried. Thank you.
Okay, next we have another order for ratification. And this one is pertaining to Walk-In Enterprises Limited at 1161 Topsail Road. The business Walk-In Enterprises Limited, 1161 Topsail Road, has constructed a pedestrian footbridge in a conservation zone without a permit from the City of Mount Pearl or Water Resources and Management Department of Provincial Government. An inspection was completed by city staff and a Water Resources Management Department representative on June the 18th and confirmed that the existence of a pedestrian footbridge, which is a different bridge from the one reported in 2020. This newly identified pedestrian bridge must be removed by July 24th, 2021. The department recommends the issuance of the order as outlined be ratified by council pursuant to section 109 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000. And it says, this is quite a mouthful tonight. Bridge removal order. This order is pursuant to the City of Mount Pearl Act, the Urban and Rural Planning Act, the Mount Pearl Development Regulations 2010, and the Mount Pearl Building Regulations 2011, and the Occupancy and Maintenance Regulations. Take notice that the business, Walk-In Enterprises Limited at 1161 Topsail Road, has constructed a pedestrian footbridge in a conservation zone without a permit from the City of Mount Pearl or the Water Resources Management Division of the Department of Environment and Climate Change. An inspection was completed by city staff and a Water Resources Management Division representative on June the 18th and confirmed the existence of a pedestrian footbridge, which is a different bridge from the one reported in 2020. This newly identified pedestrian bridge must be removed by July 24th. Failure to comply with this order will result in the city making the necessary arrangements to enforce its order through legal means, which will be undertaken without further notice. In the event that the city is required to take legal action, all associated costs will be your responsibility and collected from you. Payment of this amount will be required within 30 days of the issuance of an invoice, or the matter will be referred to court for collection. You have the right to appeal this order. The appeal fee of $200 plus HST must be submitted to the Secretary of the Regional Appeal Board, care of the Department of Municipal and Provincial Affairs, by hand delivery or mailed within 14 days of the date that you receive this order. If the appeal and fee are not submitted within this time limit, your right to appeal is considered to be forfeited. You should also note that any interested person also has the right to appeal this order within a 14-day appeal period. And that was dated in Mount Pearl, Newfoundland and Labrador on the 24th of June. And if there are no questions, again, I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Fry and again seconded by Councillor Antle. Any comments? It's really hard to proceed with any development, not only in this city, but in this province without getting provincial government approval in this particular case. So hopefully we can have this resolved sooner rather than later, but the order is appropriate given that the required permits are not there. And as you all know, council, we as a city, our businesses and our residents, not just city council, cherish the Waterford River. And our expectation is that we'd love people to be down there enjoying it as long as it's done within the regulations of the province. So I'll call the question. All in favor? And
Aye.
those opposed? And that motion has also been carried. Thank you.
Yes, your worship, I agree with you. And a permit is not just a piece of paper. A permit is requiring, or it's ensuring that all of the regulations and proper precautions are taken to, especially in a conservation area. Okay, next we have our development permit list for the period of June the 14th to the 25th. And the committee recommends that the following development permits be approved as presented for that period. There are 2 development permits here. And one is for a single detached dwelling and accessory building, and the other one is for the Northbrook Construction Ancillary Building, which we just spoke of earlier. And I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Fry and seconded by Councillor Antle again. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next, the committee recommends that the building permits issued for the period of June 14th to the 25th, showing a total construction value of $302,520 be approved, and further that the occupancy permit list be accepted as presented. And these are detailed here in your kit. Again, we're looking at a lot of fences, exterior renovations, sheds, a swimming pool, so on and so forth, widened driveway. And I so move.
Again, moved by Councillor Fry, second by Councillor Antle. All in favor of the development permit and occupancy permit list?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion is carried. Thank you.
And that, your worship, is the end of our report for this evening.
Well, thank you very much, Councillor Fry. And we're going to move now to new business. And I'm going to start with Councillor Antle.
Your worship, just get my notes all in order. So used to using Zoom now, and it's great to be back in the council chambers. On June the 18th, we had the opportunity with the Regional Fire Commission to go down to they were welcoming all their new recruits for this year. There was 11 new recruits. We had an opportunity to go down to the firefighters, and I must say it was great to get out to see everybody again. You know, with the COVID, we don't get out very often. And but the 11 new recruits, and as they did this ceremony, you know, they were talking about, you know, 30-year veterans talking about how they joined the firefighters and the changes. So we're in good shape. I mean, there's 11 new firefighters, and I think one of those firefighters was one of the captains with the Fog Devils. I didn't know that till after, but anyhow, he goes from one quarrel to the other, I guess.
I think we had a father-daughter combination as
Yeah,
well as a
yeah.
grandfather-grandson combination as well.
Yeah,
Mm.
no, no, it was lots of, I guess,
And
lots.
two brothers,
Yeah.
Counselor Fry, you
Yeah,
recall? Two brothers? I think as well, right? The brother of a brother. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a great family tradition. It's a great career choice. We're still moving forward with our Find Your City Center. You know, Find Your City Center, we're going to see it on our webpage forever. It's something we're going to talk about for the next 25 or 30 years. And we're getting a lot of support. On June the 22nd, here in the council chambers, we invited our business community to drop by, and they looked at our 3D model and reviewed it and gave some feedback. And so far, everything's been positive and there's lots of opportunity. Then on June the 24th, we had a virtual open house. And I think it was one of our nicest evenings. And we still had a fair number of residents to show up and talk about our Find Your City Center and, you know, pass down some comments on however we could do that. So we were quite happy. On June the 27th, we had the opportunity to drop down to Richard Levandy, a softball field, to throw out the first pitch. Well, the mayor threw out the first pitch, myself and Councillor Fry and Deputy Mayor Locke. We just looked by and made them look good. Right? We were the cheerleaders, yes, we were. But I must say, our field now looks fabulous. If any of the residents have a chance to go down and take a look at our new field, I think, you know, some of the players were telling us this is one of the best. It's not the best. If it's not the best in Newfoundland, it may be the best in Atlantic Canada. It's a really fine, outstanding field. Neutralon did the work and it was outstanding. I mean, Glenn Dolomont was on top of it all the time. And I think it's a field that we're going to have for the next 25 or 30 years. You know, Glenn most himself, as far as I can tell.
As long as we don't play in the rain.
Yeah, as
hey.
long as they don't play in the rain. Yeah. And just a couple of things here for me is that I was so happy. It's tax season in the city of Mount Pearl. And this is a note that came from Director Pittman. She loves taxes. We're on that committee, and you know, it's one of those things you're going to see your tax statements coming out in. I keep on tormenting Director Pittman and Director and Councillor Fry. Sometimes they're like the Scrooge. I torment them a little bit, you know. But our tax statements are this year. You'll see them on your tax bill. They come out. They're all due. I think July 30th. You got your bill on January the 1st, and it's done up a little bit differently this time. So if you don't want to come here to City Hall, you can certainly go to your bank and arrange through online banking or through your banking, and we'll take your money any way at all. So any issues, just give us a call. All right, construction season is going forward again, and we all like to see that. And you can check our city website, and we'll have lots of issues there, or we'll keep you up to date on that. And I'm looking at my thing, and that's it for me, Your Worship.
Thank you, sir. Deputy Mayor Locke.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just further to what Councillor Ant was saying about Find Our Center. I was listening to CBC radio yesterday. They had an interesting piece on what they're now calling blue space. And the research shows that areas that develop blue space either along the coast or along lakes and ponds and rivers has tremendous benefits to the residents, not only their mental health, but their physical health. But what I found intriguing was the impact it had on community building. That when you built, you know, infrastructure around water bodies, rivers, lakes, streams, the coast, more people were drawn out. That lent itself to building a greater sense of community. So I'm excited with the Find Your Center and the proposed work along the water to enhance the opportunities for our residents to see the beauty that we have down there. So that's good news. So when I heard that blue space article, I instantly thought of our Find Your Center. I just want to acknowledge our high school graduates as well, Your Worship. Last week was the last day of a very, very challenging year this year and a half year last year. So congratulations to all of our graduates that, you know, persevered and got their credits, and as well to all the teachers and student assistants and support staff that also hung in there. It was a grueling year, and I just want to tip my hat to everyone involved that worked so hard to get our high school graduates to cross the finish line, and I wish them all well. as they move on to a different stage in their life right now. Speaking of that, while I was at the graduation ceremony last week at Mount Pearl Senior High, I encountered or met up with 3 of the phys ed teachers, and they made a point of pulling me aside, and they said, you have to thank the city and the city staff for the amazing walking trails that we have in our city. Because one of the greatest challenges with this COVID was physical distancing and social distancing. But with the phys ed program, I think they said almost every day since April, they were out in our trailways. And they said, we have the best schools in the province from that perspective that they could get out on our trailways. And they said they almost walked every single kilometer of our 60 kilometers of trails. They developed activities. So they asked me to pass on thanks and kudos to our staff, Mr. Dolimont and Mr. Tilley in our community, services for the great work. I mean, they're very well utilized, and especially in COVID. So I just wanted to put that out there as well. Also, a resident contacted me and questioned about the use of sprinklers and water, especially during the extended dry period we had, other than yesterday where we had, torrential downpours. So they expressed concern out of water levels at Babel's Big Pond and the fact that some people are using sprinklers. So it's just a reminder that we have a year-long water conservation order in place, and we ask our residents to abide by that. And just as a reminder that if your house is even numbered with respect to using sprinklers, you're permitted to use a sprinkler 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. only on Wednesdays and Saturdays. The same conditions apply if your house is an odd number, 6 to 8 a.m., 8 to 10 p.m. on Wednesdays and Sundays. So at no other days of the week should we see sprinklers ongoing in our city. So that's just a little friendly reminder. If you have a new lawn, however, you are permitted to turn on your sprinkler 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. any day for 60 days after you have your new lawn installed. But your lawn has to be registered with our Department of Infrastructure and Public Works, because our MEOs and our inspectors will doing their work throughout the city may tap on your door and you need to be registered to do that. If you're using a hose or a handheld nozzle that has a shut-off, you're permitted to water your grass or flowers anytime. And as well, you can wash your car or your house anytime, again, with a shut-off nozzle. One thing that is not permitted, that I get calls on regularly, is you cannot wash your driveway with your water hose. So you see people when they mow their lawn and they'll use their hose to wash the grass. That is not permitted. And if we happen to intercept you doing that, the offenses are, your first offense is a ticket not less than $100. And the second or any subsequent offenses thereafter, it's not less than $250. So I just want to remind folks of the importance of conserving water in our city here. And that brings me to the next thing, because when I was speaking with this resident, they were commending the city on our approach to water and some of the environmental measures that we put in place. So I just wanted to take the opportunity, Your Worship, right now, if I could, just to celebrate again our staff for all the great work they do, and for the initiatives that the council has brought in. We don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk here from a climate change perspective. I mean, we see our friends in British Columbia right now, and 2 days in excess of 47 degrees Celsius, and the humidex in the 50s. I mean, they would long to be able to open their windows like we did today with a nice breeze at 16 or 15 degrees Celsius. So, and they acknowledge, the climatologists acknowledge that this heat island that's over Western Canada right now is a direct result of climate change. So we have been taking steps, and getting back to the water, for example, and I'm very proud of this, because when I first got on council, and I've said this several times before, and I was on the Technical Services Committee, it was called back then, I was quite shocked at the amount of water that the population of 25,000 people in Mount Pearl was using annually. but we've taken measures since that time. And since 2014, for example, we have taken measures to reduce our water consumption, which includes this water conservation order that we have in place. So, you know, and again, I want to commend our UTM crews with Infrastructure Public Works because we have this leak detection system. We bought this device called a correlator. I remember it was $40,000 at the time. And they are experts now at detecting leaks within our water. So in 2020, we had the lowest water consumption in the city in 23 years. So our measures are working. This water conservation is working. So as an example, in 2014, the data show that we used 8.7 million cubic meters of water, which I think is probably 8.7 billion liters. That was in 2014. In 2020, we used 4.5 billion liters. We have reduced our water consumption as a city by almost 50%, 50%. And that's because of the diligence of our workers, but also of the cooperation with our residents to conserve water. I mean, yes, you pay your $650 a year for your water fee, but our water's not endless. So we have to take measures for this. So I just want to throw that out there. We are now trending as one of the lowest per capita water consuming municipalities in Newfoundland and Labrador. So the media tagged us as a water hog back in 2013 or 14, and now we're leading the way with water conservation. So I just wanted to put that out there. Some other initiatives that we've done, green initiatives. We have purchased a fully electric vehicle for our water sampling that we test every day of the year. We purchased 4 hybrid vehicles for our engineering and community development. And Mr. Dallemont mentioned, you know, the gas savings alone in those, how long they can drive. I think it was it 600 or 800 kilometers you could go before we fill up again. Huge, not only financial savings, but environmental savings. The wood chipping program. I walk the trails regularly, and many people have commented on how neat it is that the city now has a wood chipper. So we don't have to pay to ship all this wood to the landfill and pay the tipping fees. We now mulch it. We either use it in our own bed, so we don't have to buy that, or we shoot it back into the woods. Our tree planting. I'm delighted about our urban forestry plan. Just last week, in cooperation with the Lions Club, I mean, we planted 2,800 seedlings, tree seedlings, spruce and pine seedlings, and we have larger tree plantings, you know, in the offing. We have 8 electric chargers across the city. We have all new lighting that's being installed is all LED. So we just relit we were up to the basketball. You may remember Mayor and councillors, and Councillor Fry was our lead, and she had some beautiful baskets up there. But I mean, again, our energy consumption has gone way down around that. We use our rainwater at the Summit Center. We're capturing the rainwater at the glacier in huge tanks up there. And that's what we use in our urinals and our toilets, which is saving us from using potable water from the regional water system. Also, we have the bus shelters, the LED solar lighting that we put in the bus shelter. And the one I'm most proud of, because this came on, Your Worship, when you and I were new to council, and we were talking about the new glacier. We brought in this new technology. It cost, I think, about $1.2 million at the time. And it was a debate around the council table about the cost of it. It's called the EcoChill. When you traditionally make ice at an arena, you remove the heat from the water. So traditionally, we were just pumping that out into the atmosphere. Well, this EcoChill captures that heat, and we can reuse it into our swimming pool. So speaking with Mr. Matthew Jones today, we have not consumed any electricity to heat the water in our swimming pool since November the 11th. We have heated our pool for the past 6 months on the heat that we used to pump out into the atmosphere, contributing further to climate change. And now we're heating our swimming pool. I mean, that to me is just incredible. So I just wanted, I know I'm going long-winded here, but I just wanted people to know that there's a lot of activity that Mount Pearl is doing to do our part. Now, we're not there yet. We will continue to do that, but we do a lot to protect our environment. So I just wanted to, highlight that. And just as an aside, you know, from November 11th to now, we've saved about $35,000 in electricity bills at our swimming pool there. So, you know, we're known as leading edge and trying new things. So this Eco Chill is another example of us looking outside, trying something new, and it's paying dividends, not only environmentally, but also financially. And I will pretty much, that's everything I wanted to say. I just want to end on some anniversaries. Just to highlight, June the 20th, Mr. and Mrs. Ryan, Patrick and Catherine Ryan, they celebrated 60 years of marriage, which is a huge milestone. And I also read on social media that Doug and Tina Chater last week, I think it was 4 days ago, 5 days ago, they also celebrated their 60th wedding anniversary. So huge milestone. And I will end up by saying that tomorrow is also a special day for a very dear friend and colleague of mine. I do believe it's Mayor Dave's wedding anniversary tomorrow as well. Is it 31 tomorrow?
It is. Thank you.
So I
very
want to
much.
take this opportunity to wish you and your lovely wife a happy anniversary.
Thank you. Very
And that is it for me, Your Worship. Thank you.
And I believe Derek and Lena Blunden celebrated their 50th, probably the weekend. So hopefully I'll get, my wife and I will get more than 19 more years out of it. We'll be able to ultimately celebrate a milestone number and get on NTV, right? Because I mean, certain numbers get you on NTV, just saying. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. On to you, Councillor Fry.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor, I'm so glad that you highlighted all of those collectively because we have so much to be proud of. And it's funny because in my notes, I wanted to start by saying thank you to the Mount Pearl Lions Club for planting the hundreds of trees and the seedlings throughout our city. I know they planted them in Gloria Pearson and I think along Smallwood Drive. And of course, it's always nice and it's in keeping with our city's urban renewal and forestry initiative to plant more trees. And I know we have lots of plans to do that. And I think that's awesome. But to hear you summarize it all, like I know we've been doing some wonderful work with environmentally and projects, but to hear it all like that is truly impressive. So thank you for highlighting that. Also with our, our community groups, one thing that we have a lot to be proud of here in Mount Pearl is our community groups, and the Lions Club they always do great work. There's also the Mount Pearl Connect Club, and I just want to mention this because there's a fundraiser coming up, and you may notice if you drive through the city and you see a lawn that's flowered, and I say with yellow sunflowers, that is a fundraiser by the Mount Pearl Connect Club. So you can be flowered by a friend, and sunflowers will adorn your lawn for one day. And you can spread that little bit of sunshine and have them move to a friend's lawn for a donation of $20, or the Connect Club will come and remove them again, of course. And if you want to find out who flowered you, you can for an additional $5. So I believe, Mayor, you were flowered at one point.
I was.
Yeah.
The lawn was beautifully decorated. I couldn't talk him into 2 days because the fundraiser needed to move on. And I'm very proud of the Connect Club for coming up with something very unique.
It's so popular. We're backed up now with people wanting to do it, especially like birthdays and special
Really?
occasions and things. I mean, it's such a unique idea and something fun to do. So I'm looking forward to seeing that throughout the summer. So in case anybody sees yellow sunflowers on a lawn, they've been flowered. I am really excited to see a lot of the summer events coming back. Last summer was really tough with COVID, and I know that we're still not out of the woods, but within safety guidelines and measures, there are still some activities that are taking place. And every Saturday morning at 10:30, every Saturday in July and August at the Mount Pearl Library, there's outdoor family story times. So you can get together and every Saturday morning at 10:30 at the library and hear stories with a family. That would be so nice to do. And also the Association for the Arts in Mount Pearl and Admiralty House have a lot of summer events that are happening, a lot of fun things. I know they're doing one in conjunction with the River Rascals and teaching kids about nature and that sort of thing. So if you're looking for something fun to do this summer, there's lots happening here in Mount Pearl. Also, every Friday in July and August, we are having a Centennial Park Summer Concert Series. And that's taking place in the Centennial Park here next to City Hall. It's a free, family-friendly event. And there will be live local performers on stage from noon to 1:30 p.m. So that'd be so nice. Like bring a chair and bring a snack and have your lunch and just enjoy some local live performances. And it's so nice to see some kind of normal coming back, even with restrictions. I also want to remind residents that on Canada Day, fireworks are only permitted from dusk to 11 p.m. And I know people love fireworks. I love fireworks too. But when there's a designated time, it makes it easier for pet owners or people. I know there are a lot of people with sensory issues and children. Autism is always a challenge when it comes to loud, unexpected noises. Well, not always, but it can be. And, it's a compromise to be able to have fireworks within a certain time frame is a compromise for both sides. So I just want to remind residents of that. And I just want to end on the Find Your City Center on the public presentation that took place on June 24th. I know there's a lot of work that's being done, and I want to thank our staff for all that you're doing for the Find the City Center. It's a great initiative, and I know it's going to be 25 to 30 years, but it's something, it's a plan, and it's something that we will see come to fruition over time. And one of the things that really struck me is that the residents and the businesses are providing their support and their feedback. And I really like that because everybody is a part of it. It's not just a group of people that are doing this. It's the whole city coming together and having input. And I want to thank the residents and the businesses for coming out and doing that. And I look forward to, especially on one of the City Days events where we're going to do the Find Your City Center event. So I hope we see a lot of people there. And that is it for me this evening, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Fry. I guess I get the opportunity to finish here tonight. I'm not really going to bring up anything that's already been discussed. It's been a very thorough discussion of our recent past, as well as where we're going currently and in the future. I do want to mention July 1st, Memorial Day. The Legion will be having a very brief ceremony at the Legion for some wreath laying. And while members of the public are not necessarily invited to come down and be part of the wreath laying, there is ample room at the park for people to come down, wear masks, socially distance. Council, you're invited to attend the ceremony and observe, and it's a time to reflect on our freedoms and how we got here, and those that basically sacrificed their lives so that we may be here today. Later on in the day, it's been mentioned a couple of times, we are going to take a very small step and light City Hall orange to honor the growing number of missing children who have been found recently. It's a horrific story, but I do believe any thought of truth or reconciliation has to start with the facts. And ultimately, I hope this country will take ownership of our past so that we can reconcile and move forward. I think it's really important, though, we don't use reconciliation as a buzzword. I think it's important we add some sensitivity to the mix, some energy and some commitment. And to that end, the city will be having a family drive-in movie on July 1st. And it's a good time for family and friends to get together and reflect on who we are as a country. And keep in mind, even as a country or a city, we're a bunch of communities that are linked. And right now, our Indigenous communities are not linked within the fabric of this country. And I think it's a good time to sit back and reflect, enjoy the day off, but at the same time, put it to good use from a practical point of view. Talk to your family, talk to your friends, and reflect on where we've been. We need to essentially start a conversation about how we go forward. It's going to be very long-term, I think, in nature. But at the same time, I think we as a country have to develop a sense of commitment. And again, not to have a buzzword, true dedication to reconciliation and acknowledgement of the past, and making all efforts we can to unite our communities. Because together, if we go forward together, we're stronger as a nation, as a city, and as a province. So this coming July 1st, yes, City Hall will turn orange, and I hope everybody has a very thoughtful and reflective get-togethers with their families and enjoy the day off. I'd also like to add that there's a new beginning here at City Hall today. We're back in the chamber for the first time. And of course, over the last 18 months, we've been challenged by COVID and some of the public health regulations that came into effect. Naturally, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I want to commend staff for all of the iterations of, rolling out new services in new ways, rolling it back depending on, which way the alert levels were going. But right now, I believe CAO Sparrow, we're at alert level 2 still. And today's public council meeting marks somewhat of the transition to mapping our city services and, the staff being here at City Hall. Do you want to comment on that, CAO, please?
Thanks, your worship. Yeah, so first of all, I just want to acknowledge that the third week of June was National Public Service Week. And I just want to say thanks to all the staff that have, the theme is proudly serving Canadians. And I think, aligned with that theme, our staff have proudly served our residents over the COVID period and over the past number of months, and we'll continue to do that. Because of COVID, we opted not to do a big event, but next week, all of our staff, happy to say, will be back in the workplace following some of the relaxation of the restrictions. And we'll welcome them back and say happy Public Service Week and welcome back to the workplace. So it is a milestone given the past, year and a half and everything we've been through. So next week, we'll see everybody in the corridors again. So looking forward to that.
Thank you for that update. And I want to wish everybody, we may not all be together with holidays in the coming weeks, but I know with, unfortunately, with devices like this, we never really leave our work. And I know the dedication of our staff is very strong and very tremendous. So I want to wish everybody who may be taking a holiday in the coming weeks to wish them a good holiday and well-deserved, by the way. The last 18 months, you could never have written the story when you started your careers, whether it's at the city of Mount Pearl or otherwise, that you would have gone through all of what you've gone through, and our residents and our businesses, thank you very much for it. So on that note, I'll call for a motion to adjourn, moved by Councillor Antle and seconded by the Deputy Mayor, and we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.